Okay. Believe we are live. Yep, we are. I can only say good morning for another 6 minutes, so good morning. Welcome to Sassy Seer Sheila. I did not hit record, so I am not going to be uploading this to New Light Streaming Love this time. I think I've decided that I actually may not do that. I think I'm just going to alternate days where I'm live on Sassy Seer Sheila, and then I'll go live on New Light Streaming Love. It does take up an awful lot of space on my laptop to save these lives so that and then I also have to remember to upload, and I got too much other recording that I want to do, that I am feeling led to do. So I won't be, if you like being present for these lives, I just want to say, make sure that you're subscribed, make sure that you have that notification bell checked. Unfortunately, sometimes apparently, and there's really no rhyme or reason that I can see with YouTube, because I've had it reported by some of you that you've got all of that done and you're not notified. So generally it's around anywhere between the 11 and 12 noon hour that I do these lives. And it will either be here or at New Light Streaming Love. So I absolutely recommend that you are subscribed in both places. Because I do feel today really driven to record as much as possible of Jason's work. Not quite sure what's behind that necessarily. Ah, wow. Okay, so from the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle, as I was saying that I'm not sure what's behind that, Eyes on the Prize came popping out. Very interesting that. We'll take that into account and see what it has to say. So there's a couple of things that came into my field this morning while I was doing some of that recording. Very first up for me this morning, signing on to YouTube to check the comments. By the way, just so y'all know, all comments on both channels are held. If you comment, the reason you don't see your comment right away, you should see that on live until it stops being live, and then it's not there for a little while YouTube is rendering the live stream. But if you comment on anything that I've recorded, the reason it doesn't show up is that I have comments held so that I'm not missing any. When I first started doing YouTube on Conscious Conversation Central, I didn't know anything about YouTube, of course. And the blood dance, now that's very interesting. And what I started noticing was that there were comments being made that I wasn't catching, because maybe somebody saw the video up to a year later. I think I did it within the first year, though, several months later after the video was done, and I wasn't being notified that there was a comment. So if I don't hold the comments and have to approve them, then they can slip by without my ever knowing that. And since a lot of times I do ask for people's comments, I wanted to make sure that I could see all of them. So that's what that is, just so you're aware, because I did have somebody ask why their comments weren't showing up. Ooh, now that's very interesting. The very next recording of Jason's that I've been nudged to record today talks about the alchemy. That's in the title. So that's very interesting. Nellis, the alchemist, came up here from the fairies oracle. Okay. So what I was saying to you about telepathy, I was recording one of Jason's works this morning, and I saw I was flashed as I was recording his work. I was flashed a video that I had seen this morning that I posted on my Facebook page, which is public if you want to go and see it. It was a clip of I'm sure, longer. Oh, and apparently this one had to come out too because I showed myself that as I was. So there's 2 surrender cards today. And it was a clip between Jordan B. Peterson and the young man Oliver Anthony. And I posted it on my Facebook page because the subject of the conversation had to do with what drives Oliver Anthony, and it's not the money, which is what this is for myself, what this is for Jason, what this is for Crystal. And I cannot unsee the order in which I was guided to record Jason's work today. And I was in the middle of that recording, and I said, I brought Crystal's name into the recording, and the next thing I know, there she is, making a comment on something, and I saw her name pop up, and I'm like, see, this to me, this is how telepathy actually works. And I was in Zoom just prior to this, speaking with Crystal and sharing what my experience was, and telling her that this is what happened. And Jason messaged me. That is how interconnected all of us actually are. And it's only a matter of, really, for me, paying closer attention to myself, to my surroundings. I feel like the entire field, which is all of creation, endeavors to communicate with us, with me. And it's only a matter of the level of my presence in any given moment as to whether or not I see that. Oh, wow. Okay. Fire candle moon. And I believe the new moon is coming up. It's either tomorrow or the next day. Very interesting. Yeah, I'm just flashed something else I was recording this morning of Jason's. Okay, so wow, what a huge bit of reading this is this morning. Let's see what all we have here. The very first one that wants to be read, though, is this Eyes on the Prize. That's the first card. Very rarely do they want to go in order of which I felt to shuffle them, but this Eyes on the Prize definitely wants to be first. It is the number 44, which, is supposedly double numbers, something to do with, and fours are all about foundation. So, Eyes on the Prize. Trust the guidance of your North Star. And isn't that, wow, at the core of what I was just speaking on? And part of what Crystal and I were chatting about in Zoom as well, how at different points we've been guided to do different things, and we're not clear in the moment as to what or why we're guided to do these things. However, doing them, right? I've been shown time and time and time again how back when I was guided to stop using regular antiperspirant and make my own, I began not just making my own deodorant, but also my own body oil using coconut oil and essential oils. And what I thought at the time was just me choosing what I liked to smell to make this little concoction that I was making for myself. About 2 or 3 years after the fact, because it also changed. Every time I went to remake it, I noticed that I was changing it up a bit. And I don't measure. I do that when I cook as well. I don't measure. Everything's by intuitive feel. And so I started asking myself, oh, well, what's that about? And what I got was, we'll look them up. So I started looking up the different things that I was guided to use, right, in these oils and what they're good for. And every single one of them were good for something to do with your skin, and good on the skin and all of that. And I was, and here I thought I was just doing it to please my sense of smell, which is true also. But by just following what I was guided and then turning and looking at it later, I showed myself how, pardon me, following one's inner guidance leads to all sorts of beautiful things that I may or may not become consciously aware of, right? So, card number 44, Eyes on the Prize. Trust the guidance of your North Star. There's a quote here from Steve Jobs. I'm sure a lot of you have had this experience where you're growing as a person and people tend to treat you like you were 18 months ago. And it's really frustrating sometimes when you're growing up and becoming more capable. It is the same with a company and the same with the press. The press is going to have a lag time. The best thing we can do about the press is to embrace them and keep our eye on the prize. And the press and the stock price will take care of themselves. Oh, I like that, because honestly, we can do nothing about what anybody thinks about us. And even my own self, I can't really do anything. Well, I can, but do I do it? That's always the question, isn't it? Crystal just helped me this morning. Now, wait a minute. If you create your own reality, you just created that. You're pulling that. And this is why I need, in my view, it's always lovely. Let's just put it that way. I don't need it, but it's always lovely to have someone around you who will call you on it and say, hey, remember, right? The message of this card: as you journey back home with your reward in tow, you realize this is more than a footpath. It's a weave between who you used to be and who you are becoming. You don't have to know exactly how this process will unfold from here on out. Your only job is to keep your eyes on the prize and follow your North Star. At this moment, your North Star is hanging directly over the place where you started this journey. Consider George Bailey in the movie It's a Wonderful Life. Once he completes his life review and has the epiphany that everyone would not be better off without him, he runs back to Bedford Falls and is home in time to hug and kiss his family and hang the Christmas star on the tree. He is in the same place as he started, but is changed and willing to participate in life from a whole new perspective. Well, isn't that so for me personally as I keep growing around the 32nd gate? I know who that is. Yep, don't know how it will unfold, but definitely following my north. And I'm so glad that you are and that you're in my life. Crystal, that's who that is, by the way. And so willing to be there and be a part of my community. The dream symbol of this card is star. Dreams of a star symbolize you are being guided from on high. This dream is a message that things are looking up for you in order to become the star of your own life. It's important to remember Einstein's words. You can't solve a problem from the same mind that created it. In other words, look up, seek a higher point of view, and let your higher guidance system lead the way. There's a mantra here associated with this. I am connected with the celestial body of the universe. I have permission to shine at maximum wattage. And quite honestly, I can see in my life where I have dimmed that wattage quite a bit for lots of various different reasons. Being told by this one over here, you're too much. Being called intimidating by this one over here. Evil genius. Well, you're just a manipulator. And all these different kinds of things that folks have said, they tend to cause one when they're trying to fit in. Don't get me started on that. To dim ourselves in various and sundry ways, and it becomes becomes somewhat of a habit. It's a programmed condition that I am now seeking to dislodge myself from. So the two surrender cards that came out, the first one, surrender to inner peace. Cultivate inner peace on a daily basis. In quiet meditative moments, focus on the stillness within and enjoy this inner refuge. Others will feel your good vibes too, and your life will flow more easily. What I've noticed for myself is the more I move towards those things that draw me, move towards what brings me joy, and stop worrying about all the outside this, that, and the other. There's a lot more inner peace to be had, period. So there's that. And part of it is this next one for me: surrender your belief in scarcity. I just got through saying to Crystal that I spent more money. I get paid on the third Wednesday of the month. My Social Security check comes in, and here it is Monday, and I'm already out of money. You buy the things you know you're going to need for the month, and it's okay. I don't have to worry about it, because if there's something else that comes up, the universe will provide. I know that now. But the belief in scarcity is a big one for all of us. Will there be money in the bank account when it's time to pay the rent? Because we're still playing the money game, right? That's a big one for a lot of folks. The universe is asking you to open to the infinite nature of abundance. In this way, you can remove blocks in your life and succeed beyond your wildest dreams. That's one of the has been one of the most challenging, but I kind of feel like in many ways I feel very fortunate, having been never have made a lot of money in my life. $29,000 was the top I ever earned in my life in 1 year. And that was, because I came up back when money wasn't, and there was a lot of discrimination for me personally, being at almost 400 pounds. People didn't think I was smart enough and stuff like that. So there's a lot of proving I had to do, right? So Nellis, the alchemist, wants to go next. She's card number 27, which is a 9 numerologically. And again, a bit of synchronicity there as far as I'm concerned, because one of the pieces of Jason's work that I'm nudged to record today has this. I haven't read it. I don't ever read any of his work prior to recording it. That's the way it works on my channel. When I'm nudged to record something, why waste the time to read it to myself if I'm going to record it as well? So that is my guidance. So the key words here are inner transformation, irrevocable change. In fairy, and sometimes in our world, alchemy is the study and practice of transforming the soul from the lead of primitive conditioned reactions to the gold of spiritual and practical attainment. And I'm being flashed an article that I saw the title of. I want to say I may have saved it thinking that I was to record it, but I don't know that for sure. I'd have to go back and look at it wasn't Jason's work. It was some sort of an article that says that scientists have now figured out how to do this. I was like, oh, have they now? Because alchemy, that whole idea of turning lead into gold, was never actually about that. It was and always has been, in my view, the transmutation of, well, now my wording would be moving from that ego-based consciousness to the heart-based consciousness, turning lead into gold. And so, very interesting there. Nellis is the mistress of the alchemical arts, and she also understands that daily life is a spiritual exercise. She recognizes that transformation may take place from the inside out or from the outside in. When things are stuck and movement has become impossible, Nellis firmly waves her rowan wand and things happen in ourselves and in the world. Sometimes things just cannot move without readjustment, perhaps even radical realignment. I lost my place. Bear with me just a moment. There we go. We may feel that we should be able to bring our plans to fruition, but we may be aiming at the impossible or at least the very inappropriate. Part of the impossibility or inappropriateness may be a result of our own attitudes, beliefs, or behaviors, and part of it may be circumstances in the world, things that are beyond our control. Also, for me, from my perspective, it also can have to do with the perspective that I'm holding, right? Like, I am a compilation. This being that sits before you right now is a compilation of every experience that this entity and this entity, that which named itself Sheila or had a hand in being named Sheila, is a compilation of ego and all the experiences that she's had while in this vessel, along with all the experiences outside this vessel. Now, some of the experiences while outside the vessel, I don't have or think I don't have immediate access to. Always. And even if I am shown things, it's coming through that perception filter of the experiences that the ego has had and gets colored by those experiences. And I have been shown where myself, the ego, is very easily influenced by the interpretations, the experiences that I've had. Meaning that I get guidance and it comes through that experiential filter, and that experiential filter colors it in a particular way. And so now I'm holding it in a particular way. May not be exactly the way the guidance meant for me to take it. I mean, I've been shown that about myself, and your individual mileage is absolutely going to vary because everybody's unique and your own experience is your own, as is mine. But I've been shown on more than one occasion where I have received guidance that I've interpreted to mean XYZ, when in fact, it really was not. It was maybe partly that, but not exactly. So I think that happens for all of us. And I think that's what this is referring to. Often, inner transformation is required in order to achieve what we wish for in the outer world, just as conversely, changes in the outer world often elicit inner transformation. Personal inner change is the truest transformation of all. And in the long run, it is the only change that really matters. I agree with that. And just that word, it matters. It becomes matter. As Crystal was so kind to point out to me this morning, your words matter. They become reality. So, how I speak to myself in my head, the words I speak out loud, they actually do become. Nellis points out a path we can follow, Jonathan observes, but she does not lead us by the hand along it, although she might give us a nudge if we seem to need it. When an Oracle group member was looking at Nellis, a giggling fairy voice said, "You concentrate very hard, you can get to the bottom of this problem." When Nellis turns up in your reading, get ready for things to happen, inwardly and outwardly. The stuck becomes unstuck. The blocked begins to move. She may have to run to keep up with the speed at which you may have to run. Oh, there's been a quickening of late for me personally, and I'm having a tough time keeping up is the way it feels. Stuff's moving so fast. You may have to run to keep up with the speed at which the situation around you is moving. You may also be surprised by the direction things and you are taking. That's very interesting. You may find your plans, even your desires and dreams, changing as the transformative process takes place. It might not have been in your plans, but later on you will look back and say, wow, it wasn't what I expected, but it was just what I needed. I've said that on this channel more times than I can count. Because I'm 63, I can look back at my life and see where that's been true from jump, man, from jump. When we have been through such an alchemical process, we can never go back to what we were before, which is probably just as well. I agree wholeheartedly. As a matter of fact, it's the only way forward for me personally. Why would I want anything different? The next card is card number 17, Fire Candle Moon. This is from the Alchemy Elementals deck. And again, I can't unsee the fact that we got a new moon coming up. I'm not sure if it's tomorrow or the 25th. I'll have to double check on that. If you know if it's tomorrow or the 25th, put it in the comments for me. I'd appreciate that. So, fire, candle, moon. You know, I had a flash the other day, and it's just come in again. There's actually the idea that you can meditate with the flame of a candle. And I was flashed that the other day. That has a whole new connotation to me at this moment of now, especially with everything that I've been reading from Jason, and how even the wording I've always used to describe the divinity within has always been the word spark, right? A fragment, a spark of divinity. And Jason uses the word flame, right? Very interesting. So, fire, candle, sun. And that is on page 30. The divinity, to me, the three, which I've had so much about twos and threes around me all my life, mostly threes, but also, well, that's not quite right, is it? Yeah, it is page 29. I have a vertical imbalance in my eyes. Sometimes things look like they're on the straight when they're not. Okay, so fire candle moon. Some people are operating under the ass backward impression that a light grows dimmer when other lights are around. Can you imagine? That's just straight up lack mentality. And I can assure you that this could not be further from the truth. The brighter you shine, the brighter we all shine. Yes, actually, I've actually had somebody say to me one time, a long time ago, about that very thing, about something to do with the shining of one's light dimming somebody else's. Um, and I didn't see how that was possible then, and I don't see how it is here now either. Still, the brilliance of one's light can only be truly known by the one who bears it and brings it forth, aka you. Are you honoring your light? Do you recognize the magnificence of your spirit? Or are you hiding in the shadows, pretending you're not meant to shine? Bring forth your light, love. It allows us all to shine together. I wonder if that's because I have said there's a lot of folks that I've wanted to have conversations with in times past on Conscious Conversation Central, and a lot of folks have what I'm going to refer to as stage fright, and it's like, man, dude, this is a conversation. And maybe that's because is it I really don't know what it is, folks. You, I, I'm just saying, I show up as who I am, no matter the venue. There is no other me. I know that in celebrity and Hollywood and all these other things, there's personas and people behave in certain ways. And I've honestly, I think that might be part of the issue, that when I've been called intimidating and other things, I'm just me, regardless of where we are, what we're doing, or anything else. And that's one of the things I feel like Crystal was a little, she noticed about me right off when we finally met in person. I was the exact same character in person that I am right here. And I behave in public the exact same way I behave right here. So I don't know. I feel like that's what this may be referring to here. So that's very interesting to me on a lot of different levels. Okay, so the final card. And I'm not quite sure why this one wanted to wait until the last. This one's from the Journey of Love deck, and it's called the Blood Dance. And there's been quite a bit, and I really didn't want to record any more of B at Quantum Tumblr's work without his permission. I don't even know why that is, but if I oh, I see something happened to the live and it looks like it was frozen. Oh, but there it is. So I don't know how much of that got missed, but at any rate, if I can't get to somebody, oh, it's doing it again. I guess there must be something going on the internet right now, and things are being stop and start and stop and start. So this is the last card. That's good. At any rate, I'll email, I'll do whatever. I try messaging, I try different things. And then I also, on these last two cases with Mott and with B at Quantum Tumblr, I put the videos that I did where I've invited them to come and have a chat with me, or to, that I want to record their work or whatever. I put it in their feed, but they may not even have seen it. You see, that's just it. I don't know. But there's some more information about blood types that I felt to record. And perhaps this is my nudge to revisit that again. I don't know. So, the blood dance. The heart craves life and the blood responds. In relationship to each other, life happens. The desire and the action, the movement of cycles, drawing in and letting go, rushing to the center and rushing far away to the extremities. It is the cycle of relationship, dancing between self and other into oneness and into individuality. So it is with human beings in relationship with each other, and with human beings and the divine essence. Sometimes the heart of God feels so close. It's as though our own inner passion is the very blood rushing through it. When we journey far, bringing our nourishment to where it is needed, to those who are cold and lonely, to the farthest reaches of our own dark self, that we may, if very brave, dare to love completely. Though we can be lonely for the warmth of the center. Oh, wow. That needing and feeling and wanting to belong, right? The center. Though we can be lonely for the warmth of the center, then, craving that feeling of being at home, soon enough we are called back to the core of the divine heart, and the cycle continues. Remember that you are always in this dance of life. You are never apart from the divine. It is just that sometimes in our natural flow, it is easier to feel that divine presence than other times. Yet you are always the blood connected to the heart. This oracle brings you confirmation that you are connected to the divine source, to all that is. If you are experiencing a phase of feeling, quote, cut off from yourself, from your body, from another, or from the divine, even from your own feelings, spiritual connection, or intuition, be reassured that this is temporary and part of the cycle of life itself. Yeah, this feels like very specific. And if the person needing to hear this isn't here now, they will be. They will hear this when they need to. Because there's going to be more than one. Soon all connection shall return with even greater warmth and nourishment, welcoming you home again with great love. If you feel you have been journeying in life and fear that you have lost your way, do not trouble yourself, precious soul. You are never far from the divine heart and will always be called home. Love's language speaks like sound of falling leaves, caressing wind to bear aroma sweet. You ask if I can love in measure true and give emotions weight. The scales do. Each tear releases more than words can say, expressing all my heart wants to convey. Wow. For me, what I hear there is, again, what I keep being told by my larger self, my soul, my inner guidance, is to relax into myself and just follow those inner nudges, regardless of what things appear, and that message has been so huge in the outside world. Nothing is as it seems. Not one thing. So be open to being shown by your own inner guidance, because you will show you the way if you will just but trust yourself. That for me has been my quest. First of all, to realize that I didn't trust myself. And that's the case for all of us, by the way. None have been left out of that because of the way each and every one of us have been raised, the outside world, the indoctrination, all these different things go into the programming and conditioning of every single being on this planet, bar none. And in addition to that, with that indoctrination and that programming and conditioning, an awful lot of trauma occur, has been, will be, until we actually see that and begin not to do that to each other, because it's still going on. That for me is the ultimate wake up right there, is to realize that we each and every single one of us, bar not one, have been traumatized in ways so unique and so individual. None have been left out of that. And as we grapple with that and realize that, if all of us, especially those that are actually doing this work, and trust me, it ain't easy to get in here and learn how to trust oneself 100, and remember that everybody else has had exactly the same thing happen, only in their own individual ways. They've had it too. Most especially parents, by the way. I know, man. My mom did all kinds of damage. My dad not being there, damage. But they too at it as well. And they're grappling as well. And the earlier, for me, the more I know that that is a true statement, it allows me the freedom to just open it up and say, wow, I forgive everybody, myself included, because don't think for a second that I didn't program the crap out of my own child. When you start waking up to the programming and conditioning and you're a parent, oh, you can see, trust me, you can see the damage, because I do. Oh, boy, do I. And all I can do is hope that he will see it for himself before he passes that along to his child. So for each one of us that wakes up to that truth as we continue to grapple with that and eradicate, gotta forgive self too. That's got to be first on the list. And that is what today I feel is all about, this alchemy and realizing that we are all okay. For me, keeping that eye on the prize. Wow, what a really cool reading today. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure that if you have found yourself here, whether it was live or later, uh, seeing the replay of this, um, if you've been led here and you got this far in it, I'm sure there was something here for you. Something here for you. I hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. It is just a matter of your perspective and your perception of your perspective, and it's constantly changing. So be gentle with yourselves in every moment, especially right now. I feel as though for some reason right now, there's an awful lot in the field. So until we meet again, my friends, mwah, be well.